computer. Hi guys, right, nice to see you all and a huge welcome. We are back to doing our monthly trainings and we are kicking off. I went to say August then, but it's because I'm looking at August follow-up stuff in front of me. We are kicking off September with a bit of follow-up, and the fortune is in the follow-up. So I'm going to ask a question and ask you to stick it in the chat, those of you that are on. Tell me, those of you that have a foolproof follow-up system, do you have a system that is like absolutely bulletproof and you love your follow-up system? Or are you like me, still trying lots of different systems, like 5 years in, 6 years in, and I think I found something that's working, but it evolves and it changes all of the time? No, I wing it. No. I knew there were going to be no's. This is probably like literally one of the things that I train on the absolute least. And I'll be completely honest, there's a reason for that. And it's because I am a wing it queen. And I always have been. I wing everything about my business. But I have really, really noticed over the last probably 18 months to 2 years, well, definitely in the last year, my sales have gradually started to increase because of doing more follow-up. Now, I'm not saying that I found a perfect system, and I know Kirsty will probably agree that she's probably not found a follow-up system that's perfect. And our systems are evolving all of the time. And there might be some of you that are on here that like, I don't even know what follow-up means. I don't know what it means. And hopefully by the end of tonight, you're going to be a bit clearer about what follow-up actually is, and the fact that actually there's no right or wrong way to do it, but you need to have a kind of system in place. And it doesn't matter how loose that system is, but there needs to be something in place that you do every single month that is basically allowing you to connect with your customers. And I want you to remember that word. That word is literally going to be the most important word, I think, at the end of today. Connect. I actually don't call it follow-up anymore because I find the term a little bit strange. And I said this on a post that I wrote this week about when I used to work in Virgin Gym. I was a fitness instructor back in the day. Dipped my toe back in it this week with Nicola Wilson and Georgie, and giving them a bit of a tour around the gym. But one of the things that used to be in my 4-hour shift was that I had an hour that was actually for something called connecting. And we used to be asked to go and spend an hour going around the gym and connecting with as many customers as possible. And I used to go around the gym and I used to basically say to people, oh, hi, how you going on your workout? And some people genuinely did not want to have a conversation. Like, honestly, genuinely, some people were like, I'm avoiding you. I don't want to talk to you while I'm doing my workout. And some people wanted to have like a full-on chat, and they wanted to tell me like what their dog was up to, where their kids were, how their workout was going. And that was part of our job. And the reason we did that was to build relationships, to build trust, to build a community, if you like, within our gym that allowed people to feel really comfortable, and they wanted to keep coming back because they had good relationships with the fitness instructors that were working there. And follow up in what we do is exactly the same. It's no different. Okay. It's no different. Ideally, if you're using follow up in the right way, you're connecting with your customers on a regular basis. Now, we are going to show you some different ways that you can connect with your customers. And actually, Kirsty and I have tried similar systems. We've tried different systems. I'm probably doing something slightly different to what Kirsty's doing now. Kirsty's probably doing something different to me, but I want you to take that away from this. There is no right or wrong way to do this. It's just about you finding something that works for you. And whether you have 6 customers or whether you have 106 customers, it doesn't matter. You need to have something in place that allows you to connect with them month in, month out. And whether that's, chasing orders, or whether that's following up with a 40 bulb or 40 warmer, it doesn't really matter. It's just making sure that you have that connection with your customers on a regular basis, because I promise you that regular connection is where your sales are going to grow. It's where your customers are more likely to come back. I mean, I've had it before when I haven't been a good connector with my customers, and then they've gone and actually bought from somebody else, or they've joined. That's probably been the worst one for me, is that then they've actually gone and joined somebody else because they didn't think at the time I was looking for new teamies, because I wasn't doing the follow-up and I wasn't doing the connection. And I can tell you now, it is the most bittersweet feeling, not bitter feeling, it's awful feeling, when a customer of yours goes to buy off somebody else because you haven't done the follow-up with them. They end up buying from somebody else because you haven't asked them, did they want that product, or how are they getting on with their product, or you've ghosted them for a period of time, or forgotten about them. They feel forgotten about. Okay, so I'm going to look over here because I actually have prepared some notes, and I've done it on my laptop and I couldn't print them because my printer's not working. I don't know why. It's got a bit of a problem. With my printer. So, ideally we're looking for some kind, sorry, I keep getting distracted by the people coming in, so I do apologize. So basically, what is follow-up? Okay, follow-up is a way of connecting with your customers, like I've already said that. But checking in with them after they have ordered. It really is that simple. Follow-up is also a way of dipping into your customers and messaging them for orders, but I will touch on that a little bit later. I try to use it more as like a process of like actually checking in with people after they have ordered. And you can do your check-in. You can literally be checking in for, did you like your order? Was everything okay with your order? Like, for example, I opened my new warmer of the month today, or it was yesterday, and the bulb is broken inside. And how many times has that happened, maybe to your customers, and then you don't check in with them? And then when you eventually do speak to them, oh, did you like that warmer? And they go, oh, it came with a broken bulb, so I've not even turned it on. Okay, it does happen. You know, product doesn't always turn up perfect. And I don't always check, we should, but I don't always check my warmers, because I'm in a hurry sometimes. Sometimes that order comes in and I literally want to get it out. And then I have that horrible little pitfall feeling, thinking, you know, when they text you straight away, I've had it before, and I think to myself, I should have checked the bloody bulb. But some customers will message you straight away and say, just turn my warmer on, I'm really excited, and the bulb's already blown. But some won't, because it's just not a priority to them. It might not even be a priority to them to get the warmer out of the box. I know I spoke to somebody this week who said, I sold a warmer to someone, and 5 days later, after delivery, they still hadn't got it out of the box. But she knew that because she had checked in with the customer. So ideally, there needs to be some kind of check-in process. There also needs to be some kind of check back process. Like, was everything in your order okay? Did you like your order? Maybe you ask people, you know, did they want to, I don't know, would they share a picture of their order that they basically had? Is it my internet, guys? Is my internet bad? No, Kirsty, no. I know, sorry, I've just seen a couple of the comments and now I was wondering if it was mine, because I know it's been bad this week. You can hear okay. Okay, fab. I know my internet has been bad. So
I think the wind, because of the wind, I think is affecting people's signal.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's saying I've got five lines, but if it is, you might need to come in and go out, guys, or maybe hotspot to your phone, maybe if you've got better internet on your phone. I have to do that a lot in my office. So if it does go, just let me know. Okay, sorry, completely lost my train of thread. Hold on, where was I? So I was saying about the different types of follow-up, wasn't I? Sorry, guys, completely lost my different train of all the different things that you might check in with people for. The reason for doing this, okay, I don't know why, there's a bit of a stigma. A stigma is probably the right word. I think that's the right word. Around follow-up that makes people feel icky and spammy. Be honest with me in the chat. Have you ever felt that way? Have you ever felt like, if I'm going to do follow-up, I felt icky about it, or I felt like I'm spamming someone? And I know Kirsty's going to touch on this, so I'm not going to touch on it too much, because I know Kirsty's had experience with this 100% yet. We all have, right? We all have. We've all had that. And ideally, if you can put the right sort of system in place, I think it takes that ickiness away from this. I want you to think about this for a minute, okay? When you buy something from Nike, JD Sports, New Balance, I don't know why I'm calling sports brands, but Tesco's, Sainsbury's, whatever brand it is you buy from. What happens when you bought from that brand 2 weeks later, normally, a week later, a day later, sometimes? You get an email, okay? You get an email, right? Do you get another email saying to you, thanks for your order? Or maybe you just get another email showing you product that is being released or new products that are coming, or suddenly you've been added to their mailing list. Yeah, you've been added to this mailing list and suddenly you're getting new emails. They don't feel spammy about sending those messages, okay? They don't. For example, I feel like I'm being really pushy. I'm going to come on to that in a minute, Sharon, okay? They don't feel like they're being pushy. They don't feel like that, trust me. And we shouldn't either, because we are providing a service. And you need to get your head around that follow-up is a service. It's not spammy if it's being done in the right way. The only time I think follow-up becomes icky, spammy, or that feeling, and this is my honest opinion on it, and I know this is a bit of a truth bomb, okay, which some people might not like, and I apologize if you feel that way. The only time I think follow-up becomes spammy and icky is when we as consultants become desperate for sales, okay? And this is like me being really honest. I know that if I'm trying to hit a target, or I'm trying to hit a goal that I've set myself, or when I was going for, I don't know, annual sales, for example, and I literally am messaging every single person, and I'm in their inboxes, and I'm literally this offer, that offer, this offer, that offer, this offer, that offer. It become almost a little bit like desperation. However, if I had a system in place that was more structured, and it was more like connecting, and it was more relationship building, it wouldn't feel that way. It would not feel that way. And I really think that sometimes the only time we tend to do follow-up, this is a truth bomb, love me, please don't all hate me for this. The only time sometimes some people do follow-up is when you need sales. And be honest, we've all been there. When we need sales, when we suddenly need that 200 PRV because we've not got active, or we're not quite at our 500 and we want our 500. And suddenly we're like, I've got a message for all my customers and I've got to send them this wax still, or I've got to send them this. The only time we do the follow-up sometimes is when we're desperate for sales. Okay. So if we can change that, and we can think of follow-up more as a connection and a trust building and a relationship building process where we're not just asking for sales, you will not feel icky about follow-up anymore. You will not feel like Spamela Pamela. You will not feel like, oh my God, the only time I message my customer is when I'm trying to sell her coconut bloody lemongrass, car bar clips. Okay. You will not feel like that if you put follow-up in place. Okay. If you build on these things. So it's really, really important that you can change your mindset to thinking of follow-up as a connection. I don't want you to call it follow-up anymore. I want you to call it as customer connections, because how much nicer does that sound than let's do follow-up? No, let's do customer connections. Let's build relationships with our customers. Let's make our customers feel like more than a sale. Laura going to come on to all of that. I'm going to talk to you about what I do with my follow-up. I'm going to ask Kirst to share what she does with her follow-up first, and then I am going to show you what I do after. I hope that's okay, Kirst, because I didn't ask you, and I haven't even asked Kirsty what she's going to talk about, because I know that she's going to talk about what she does. Some of mine might be similar, but some of it also might be different. So what we're going to do is talk you through like how we feel about follow-up. I know Kirsty's going to talk about that in a moment, and what we do to follow up with our customers, how often we do that, what sort of thing what impact it has. And I think this is the most important thing, is the follow-up, if you do it the right way, the connections, if you do it the right way, the impact it's going to have is, number one, you're going to feel better about doing it. Number two, you're going to have a system, and you'll find a way to make that fit, whether you work full time or whether you work 2 days a week or whether you don't work at all. Because honestly, I find I put follow-up off, and please tell me if you do the same, because I reckon there's more of you that do this. I put follow-up off because it's such a big job. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to procrastinate over doing that massively because it is such a big job, and I'm literally like avoiding it like the plague. Whereas when you've got a good system in place and you can break it down in small chunks and you can make it fit. And I know Kirsty does that. She has to do that now because she's got like 3 jobs. Yeah, she does her Scentsy, she works at Costa, and she's got her own business as well with her cottage. Now, so to fit follow up in now with 3 jobs. So if some of you have got 1 job, or maybe you work 2 days and you say, I haven't got time for follow up, I'm going to say, Kirsty's got 3 jobs and she still manages to do a follow up. That's an excuse. So let's work out how it can fit in with what you're doing. Now, I'm not saying that what we do, that we have it down perfect at all. Mine certainly isn't. I still procrastinate over follow up all the time. But I say that I have a much better system, and it is now bringing me in much more regular orders. My PRV is growing always, and I am getting new people into my customer group every single month because of the way I follow up with people and the referrals and all the other stuff that's coming off the back of it. Okay, Kirst, I'm going to hand over to you and then I'm going to come back. So I am going to spotlight you and then I'm going to unspotlight me. Is that worked?
Yeah. Oh no, I've got to look at myself now.
You want me to be on the screen with you? I'm happy to if you want.
Thanks. If you don't mind.
Please.
I just don't like looking at myself. I can look at you then like I'm talking to you.
Talk to me. And then I'm just going to mute me though.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so I've got I've just been making notes. This is literally my planning for what I'm going to say tonight, and it's literally I've done that whilst Lisa's talking because that's how organised I am. Wednesday is not my day to be organised. Thursday is not organisation day. So let me first talk a little bit about ick. Like, I don't know if anyone has ever felt ick like I feel ick. I am the least salesy person, you know. Messaging people out of the blue is like, it's just not going to happen. I'm not comfortable with it at all. So I have, over the past 4 years, literally winged it, like to the degree that I would literally scroll through my phone and message someone, and scroll through my phone, message someone. And I might think, oh, someone would have got their delivery today, I'll message them. But that was literally how far my follow-up went. And then this year, honestly, sales have been a lot harder to come. People haven't been coming to me. And I'm like, right, crap, I need to really sort this out. So I have gone really back to basics. I went back to the back to basics training that I did with my team, which was the first thing, list of 100. And I spent one day, and I mean, it took me hours, but I was going through my Facebook, my Messenger, my WhatsApp, everything, anything that I communicate with people, and writing down people's names on this list. And I just built on that. First of all, that was the first thing I was doing. I was like, right, okay, these are the kind of people that I need to be touching base with. And I would try and reach out to, like, you know, a couple of people a week at a minimum to get on top of that. But this past year, that's really, really progressed. And it got to the point where I had like 190 people on my list of people that have ever ordered from me. These are not people that order from me regularly. These are people that have ever ordered from me, literally going through my social media from 4 years back. And I then decided that that was too overwhelming for me. And I need a system that I can visually see when I've got 5 minutes or when I'm feeling not anxious, because I do have anxiety quite a lot and I can't follow up when I'm anxious. There's no way. So when I'm having those like confident moments, like, come on, Kirst, you're going to do something, I need a go-to straight away. So I basically have the worst Excel spreadsheet you've ever seen. Like, nobody else would understand it, I'm sure. It is absolutely shocking. But I have my full list of 100. It's actually, I think it's about 194 at the moment, but not all of those people order from me at the moment. But of people that have ever ordered from me. And I've color coded it. So I have a coding system which is very basic. If they've ordered between now and 3 months ago, they're green, and I just highlight them green. If they've ordered between 3 and 6 months, they're yellow, and if they've ordered over 6 months, they're orange. And then I have a list of uncolored people that I've reached out to since they've ordered that I'm not getting anything back, but I've not got rid of them. I've just kept them on my list, but they're not in a color because I don't want to. I've messaged them 2 or 3 times, I'm not getting anything back, and I don't really want to waste my time and knock my confidence. But those people I look out for on Facebook, and I comment on their posts, and I go intentionally looking for them. What have they been up to? What are they up to? Commenting something, liking a post every now and then. Nothing spammy, but just kind of keeping me in their mind as opposed to me going into their inbox. So that's kind of like the basics of what I have. I had like 2 or 3 spreadsheets. One was like a sheet with all of my customers' details on, Another was all of the names again, but with me putting ticks next to them when I was speaking to them. And it was just like, what am I doing here? So I just basically put it all on one sheet. So I have a column that's their name, and it's literally from alphabetical order, their first name, because that's how my brain works as well. I don't always remember people's second names. If I don't know them well, I won't always remember their second name. So they're all in alphabetical order in their first name. Then I've got their address, their email, their telephone number. And then the important one for me that I've recently added is the last time they've ordered, because obviously to keep this green, yellow and orange system, I need to know when they've last ordered. So they've all got a last order date, which I've gone back through messages to see when the last time they've ordered, obviously looked on Workstation if it's been website orders. And that's been kind of like the game changer for me, because I know where my focus needs to be. And then I've got a column that starts, so now my first column next to their telephone number, or their last order date, is follow-up to September. And then it'd be August, and I'm going, so the most recent is the first thing I see. I don't want to be worrying about April now, like that's long gone, but I want to keep it there just to see whether I am missing someone out, because, you know, there might be somebody that I've only reached out to twice since January, and then there's people that I'm reaching out to every single month. Well, obviously I'm going to be getting orders from those people because I'm reaching out to them all the time. So I want to see whether there's like a link between my orange people that aren't ordering that much and the link between me messaging them or making contact. Does that make sense? So that's been like a real kind of eye-opener for me. I will put next to them, so under their follow-up, I will put, like, if I've emailed them, I'll put an E. If I've messaged them, I'll put an M. And if it's just been a broadcast message, because I think this is important. Like, I don't count touching base, because that's what I call it. Lisa said customer connections. I just call it touching base with people, because that for me feels comfortable. I haven't messaged them about an order. I've just touched base, and it might be about an order, or it might be about, I saw their kid had a dance competition, or it might be, you know, I saw they're unwell last week. I'm touching base with them, and it might not always be sense related. I will still put that I've contacted them, even if no mention of sense is there, because that is still a follow-up. You're following up on them as a person. This business is a relationship, and I think this the second that the ick kicks in is when you forget about those relationships and you don't work on them. So I've got customers now that come in that are brand new customers that are either a referral or somebody that's followed my Facebook group and then followed my page and gone into my group. And I really, really make an effort now from day one of sample pack going out, connecting with them. That's kind of like what scents do you like? Like, have you got kids? Have you got kids that like smelling nice stuff? Have you got a sense that you really, really dislike? So I make notes of those things, sometimes in my head, because, you know, if you're not getting many regular new customers, you can do that. But a lot of it is in literally post-it notes in my office under certain people's names. I've got like a pile of like notes that just got crap all over them. I have to flick through, but just taking note of what they like. So then if they love Dark Harbour, for example, one of my new customers loves Dark Harbour, and luckily it came back in the sale. So she was a new customer. I managed to get her a load on her second order. It's amazing. But every time a masculine scent comes up, I just, hey Helen, how you doing? Lovely. Just to let you know, there's a scent coming that you're going to love. I'll try and get a sample out to you, but it might go before it, you know, if it's an LTO, it might go. Let me know if you'd like any, or if you'd like a sample of it, if I can get one to you. So it's like kind of, I don't know her at all, but we're like buddies now. And she's referred 5 people to me, and she only become a customer just for the last sale, whenever that was. I can't remember when that was. May, or was it March time? Yeah, it was fairly recent. And she's bought me 5 brand new customers that are spending a good amount of money with me, and I know them the same. So it's almost like they're all a friendship group. I don't know any of them together collectively, but I've built up relationships with all of them literally via message, via WhatsApp or Messenger, whatever they're comfortable with. I think I've just literally gone off a little bit. So list of 100 is really important. Think about this as a basic. So making sure you've got a list of everybody, because you will forget people. Even the other day, I put aside time on a Monday and a Thursday. My daughter goes to an appointment on a Thursday, and I have literally 55 minutes in the car on my own. So I take my laptop with me with my list, and I'm there with my phone, and I aim to message. I usually want to go for about 10 people, because I want to be having meaningful conversations with them. So I don't want to message, and these are personal messages. These are not a copy and paste job. Some of them are partly copy and paste, but it's always got their first name. It's always saying something personal to them, and then I'll add the, you know, generic message that I'm sending to people. But I only send about 10 at a time, purely because if they then all come back to me Thursday night, I want to be able to have a proper conversation with them. I don't want to be, I don't want to be like panicking while I'm having conversations with. I know my hands, sorry. When I get to a point within my follow-up that I don't know who to speak to. So like I've messaged everybody that's had an order from me recently. I haven't spoken to Sharon for 6 months and I feel really, really awkward. I seriously do rely on social media, and that is where I step away from my message, and I will set a timer and I'll say about half an hour, Kirsty, 20 to 30 minutes. And I'm strict with myself. I have to be now. I literally procrastinate so much that I lose myself in social media, and I've really damaged my business the past year doing that, because I've been so overwhelmed that I've just been swallowed up in stuff that really isn't important. So I went through a big thing of having a clear out on my Facebook, unfollowing people, maybe some of you that consultants that are friends of mine, so that I'm not seeing your posts, or not unfollowing, is it unfollowing? Something that you do where you're not seeing them in your highlights all the time, so that I'm seeing more other things like my customers. And I will literally give myself a 20 to 30 minute timer, and I'll look down the list of people. Like I'll have a quick look at who I haven't spoken to in the past month or two, and I'll just go scrolling. As soon as I see one of those people come up, I will literally comment on their post, and I'll put a dot in their column, as in I've touched base with them. And then I know within the next few weeks, if it's not September, October, I'm going to follow up one-to-one, because I've already commented. It's not like it's coming from nowhere. There's been a kind of a bit of a connection. They're now starting to see my posts, and that's a big thing as well. Like the algorithm, I still don't get how it works, but I've got myself borrow bags the past 2 months off of doing that. People have like, I've commented on something, they've then seen a post of mine, I've then introduced in a big public post who wants a sample pack. They've then said, yeah, I want a sample pack, and then I said, well, I have a borrow bag. Like it's a bit manipulative, but it also feels to me a little bit more it is more natural for me, because I'm leading a conversation that's more natural, because they've kind of come to me even though I've brought them to me, if that makes sense.
It's more intentional, isn't it? Like it's
exactly.
intentional.
I won't go into like Facebook and start
message
commenting on Scentsy Consultant stuff. I will know, and any of my groups that do to do with my cottage, and anything that's to do with Costa, or anything that's not to do with anybody that is a customer of mine, I do not allow myself to stop. So it's literally just flick, no, that's not going to bring me money, that's not going to bring me money, that's not going to bring me money, that might. And that's where I go. Sorry, Stan, can you hear him?
What do you say?
All about the money nowadays, isn't it?
About the money.
I've kind of lost my train of thought now. Yes, I said about from sample packs, building that relationship. That's really, really important, I think. Setting aside time for follow-up. Like I never ever, and I never have just done these, like, I know that I've had conversations with Lisa when I'm so close to like hitting my GWE, and I will kick myself now because I've missed out on so many opportunities. But that feeling of it, I'm training, Stan. Quick. Done it. Lovely. It's amazing. Oh, because there's lots of people that are training.
It's full night and
It
I'm
is.
staying up later than
Go to bed.
that I'm supposed to. I'm sorry, I'm being naughty, aren't I?
Yes. Love you.
Love you too.
Sorry.
Night.
Night.
You're training.
Thanks.
But I still hope you get a good night.
I don't know what I just said, what I was saying.
Honestly, it cracks me up. You were saying about, oh my god, my brain's even gone where Stan came in. You said obviously did the bit about your list of 100, really important. What was you talking about?
I have no idea.
Anyone that was like
It's distracted us all, isn't it? The comments aren't helping me either.
No, sorry,
can I just
icky when you need GWV, and you said you'll kick yourself.
Oh, okay, yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. So yeah, I've missed out on so many opportunities. I've missed being paid at title. I've missed, hitting my 2,000 on a month where I'm kind of like on 1,800, and it's like the last day of the month. I've missed out on so much because I refused to send out loads of messages trying to get orders. And sometimes that's a good thing, but in a lot of times it's a bad thing because I've missed out myself. So I now have to be proactive, and this list that I've got is honestly, if you're like me and you need a little bit of structure but you're not very organized, my head's all over the place, but I do need something that on a quick whim I can just pull it out of the bag, writing a list. The color coding for me is the one, because I made 2 months ago my priority getting my oranges to greens, and I smashed that. I think I turned like 30 people in 1 month from somebody that hasn't ordered in 6 months to a green order. And then the next month I concentrated on the yellows. Last month I did a bit. This month I've started to do a big thing on whites and pulling people out that actually aren't responding to me, and they're taking my energy, and it's a waste of my energy. So I've moved them all to white, and I'm like, right, shift you down to the bottom of the list. You're all white. I will concentrate on you another day and go back to the oranges, because those are the people I want to get back on board. So the color coding for me has been absolutely amazing. Make sure you set aside time, being strict with if you're scrolling Facebook, to do those things. And that, to me, that 20 to 30 minutes once or twice a week has been money, time well spent, because it's been what's the word? Lisa's going to say the word. It's been intentional. Like, I've intentionally looked for people that are on my orange, or people that I just don't have a relationship with. Like, you can message people really warmly, I think, and you get cold response. I don't know if any of you feel like that. Just some people are just like that. They're just not warm people in messages, but you might see them face to face and they're absolutely amazing and really, really lovely. But in a message, they're very, very cold. And I really, really struggle with that. So those cold people are the people that I try and soften up with the Facebook post, if they're on Facebook, obviously. If not, it might just be a message that I send to them saying, hey, lovely, I haven't heard from you in a while. I really hope you're well. Hope your family keeping well. I hope to speak to you soon, and not mention sensing. There might be other people that are so cold that it's literally just business. Like, I'll get people that say thanks to a message when I say if their order was all right, and they go, yeah, it was fine. And those people, actually, I don't feel too bad being a bit more icky with, and I'll just send them this is what I've got to offer. I've got a new catalogue. If you'd like it, let me know. As you know, I place my orders Mondays and Thursdays. If I can get you anything, let me know. And I don't feel so icky with that, because they clearly don't want that warm relationship with me. And they're giving me kind of like they're buying from me still, but they don't want that personal relationship. And so I kind of just give them I don't mind broadcasting those people so much, if that makes sense. But it's still, the one-to-one is very, very important. I have literally reached out over the past 2 months to over 167 customers. All of them have been, every single one person that's bought from me has had contact from me either last month or this month so far. And that has been well spent. Like, my PRV this month has purely come from follow-up and selling 10 of those £15 boxes. The rest of it has been personal one-to-one messages, and that's converting 2 years ago. People that have ordered from me more than 2 years ago, I've converted them to sales this month, because I've seen that the last time they ordered from me was in October or November. They clearly like those fragrances, so I'm going to reach out to them now. I think that's probably all I've got to offer. Something else might come to mind, Elise, but
I'm going to ask you something really quickly as well, because I know when you posted I love all of this, by the way, because I've sort of adopted Kirsty's color code system. I'm not very good with it. I'm not as good as she is with it, but yeah. I wanted to ask you about referrals, because you've had your business has massively grown on referrals, hasn't it? And a lot of that has come through really good follow-up, because you asked that.
Yeah, so my referral system, for those of you that don't know, I mean, it feels like a lifetime ago now, because actually I've done Scentsy for 4 years in Cromer and less than a year in Essex. But predominantly my customer base is still in Essex, because I still get referrals from that way, and I know people there, so the relationship's already there. But my customers here, I knew nobody when I moved here, and if I'm honest, I still don't know many people other than through Scentsy, and the people that I do know are off the back of referrals. So my first customers, very quickly, my first customers here come from me giving Christmas presents. Would it have been Christmas? Yeah, Christmas presents.
Yeah, because you did that Christmas fair, do you remember? And you were like,
yeah, Christmas fairs were like, when I first, Christmas fairs here, it's really, really weird. They're very into craft fairs, but people don't really like what we have to offer. They're very much about supporting small businesses, and they don't mean small businesses as our kind of small businesses. They mean like local people that have like cut their fingers making what they're making. You know, they want to see like hard graft. So it is very difficult in this community in particular, and the small villages, to kind of get Scentsy out there. You have to kind of work it different ways. So yeah, the fairs didn't work for me, but I was like, what am I going to do? So both my kids were in school, and I literally, with my host credits, bought maybe like 12 flowers, I think, and I gave out fragrance flowers to anyone that had contact with my kids. So the receptionist, I didn't do the head teachers actually at that time, but I did the receptionist, any LSAs that were in the class, and any teachers that had anything to do with, and they all got a flower. And I think from the 12th I sent out, I got 6 customers from that. So they were like the teachers of Izzy at the time. She hadn't been at school for a little while. I was from the junior school. And then Stan then went to junior school, and because he's autistic, he's in a base, so he's got like a different cohort of teachers. So I did exactly the same for them when it come around to probably Christmas again. But anyway, all of my customers have come from the teachers that referred people with my little referral for a friend, and I talk about it all the time. So that worked really, really well for me for a long, long time. And then I stopped talking about it. I just stopped talking about it. I just thought everybody's had a refer a friend card at some point. They all know that I do it. Every now and then I might mention refer a friend or Friendship Friday. Then I become a little bit, what's the word, like, oh, it's just going to happen. And it stopped happening. I remember Lisa saying something of like, you know, you can't rely on referrals. And I was like, well, I can. And then I was like, actually, I can't, because it's not happening. And I started getting myself into this real old tears of, that's actually why I went and got a job at Costa, because I was like, hey, referrals aren't working for me now. Like, I've literally exhausted all of my resources with referrals. I need to go and get myself a job. So anyway, that's, by the way, I've got myself a job. And then when these new sample packs come out, no, it's actually getting rid of, I still had 20 catalogues. And I was like, right, I'm going to get these out to people. I'm going to put my refer a friend cards in. And every new customer that comes to me, I'm going to put these in. I actually now put these in every single order. And I think I've probably had, in August and September, 15 new customers. It might be more than that, but I think like 4 or 5 of them were from just website orders that weren't linked to anybody, so I can't call them referrals. But I think I've had about 15 in August and September, new customers, and that's where my PRVs come from, new customers and pulling in all the old customers. My regulars actually haven't ordered in August. Some of them ordered at the beginning of August when the 10% first started, but it's all come from referrals and from the borrow bags that I'm now getting out off of the referrals, because I'm saying to people, there's a borrow bag, I'm putting the referral thing in there with a catalogue, and then they start talking about it, and I'm like, we'll set up a shopping link, tell your friends about it, ask your friends if they want to borrow a bag. I'm kind of getting a bit more confident with it, where I'd kind of like, I hadn't had a borrow bag out for 3 years. That's really bad to say, but I hadn't, over COVID, I didn't get borrow bags out, and I was like, who am I going to give these borrow bags to? Like, I can't offer them on my customer group because everybody's back in Essex. My mum's got a bag back there, but it wasn't very reliable. I've lost 2 somewhere in Shoebury.
I've definitely lost a borrow bag. My friend went to me the other day, I've got these, do you need them back? And I was like, oh my God, I actually forgot you.
Yeah, well, I've got 2 bags out somewhere. Christ knows where they are. Someone's probably using them in their warmers. I don't know. So that didn't work out so for me, it's been really hard to kind of get local people. But now I'm working at Costa, I've literally taken my bag into people and said, oh, just take it and do a review for me, like, and then they've liked it, and I said, right, pass it to your friend. And so yeah, I've had about 50 from my referral system. Like, follow up and referral system is my business. That has been, what have I, like 2,500 PRV maybe over the last month and this month, and it's, yeah, from referrals and follow up. That's it, from one-to-one messages, not from broadcast lists, not from a customer group, not from anything other than those 2 things. And I am going to push with those, because like, I ordered 500 of my refer a friend cards. They were 40 quid for 500 of them, and to me 40 quid's well spent, because I've already earned that. Already, just from the cards. And I do think that that's crucial. It's not just people knowing you've got a referral system, it's following up with it as well. And the same was what Lisa and I spoke 2 or 3 months ago when we started doing the VIP
Happy Mail.
Yeah, the Happy Mail for the VIPs. I added onto that anyone that referred. So once a month, I'll send out anyone that's made a referral, they'll either get their free gift, which is usually a wax bar, or they get 10% off or 15% off. And that is all part of my VIP mail that goes out. And obviously that's helped, but it is the referral system that comes into that. It's just, people want something for nothing, don't they? And if you've built up those relationships with people and they trust you for what you're referring, like what you're recommending for them, like the lady that's bought me 5 new customers because she said she liked Dark Harbour, I managed to get her a bar from somebody, then it come into the clearance, she trusts me, so I tell her, now you'll like this wax, and she goes, all right then, yeah, get it for me. And then her friend will order it as well, because I've told her that she'll like it and she likes what she likes.
That's what it becomes.
Yeah, relationship. It doesn't need to be icky. Like, trust me, 4 years of my business I've wasted on ick, and like, this is year 5 and it's not happening anymore. I don't need to be ick, because I've got relationships with anyone that wants a relationship. I've got relationships with. That's it, really.
Honestly, this is why I wanted Kirsty to speak to you all, because I think it's really important for you to see the growth as well. And it's taken a long time to hear us say that, because
yeah,
I've had so many conversations where I'm like, just do the follow-up. She's like, I can't, it makes me feel sick. And I'm like, just do the fucking follow-up. And she's like,
just
But
have to find something that works with you. And for me, like everything's always a long game. I have to build myself up.
Yeah.
But you know,
now it's
long
where
game that pays off. It does pay off.
the impact it's having is like you're over 1,000 PRV on the 20th of the month. You're well on your way to your 2,000. I'm rooting for you, going for that 2,000 this month. So
Don't worry, it's Thursday tomorrow, so I've got my 55 minutes in the car, and I've got my.
but yeah,
I've got my
I love it. So obviously guys, if you've got questions, put them in the chat. But like if that sort of idea of that system, the color coding, having, it's not like a strict system. Like Kirsty said, there's no point in her showing her spreadsheet because it works for her. And I think this is the most important thing, right? I've tried to do other people's systems, right? I have tried to do loads of other people's systems. I've tried to use other people's spreadsheets. They never work for me because they're not my own. And that is the most important thing. You need to find something that works for you, but that you could easily. I always say to Mike, like, I know this sounds a bit morbid, but I always say to him, if something happened to me tomorrow, there's got to be somewhere where you could come to and find all of my customer details, who's ordered what, and actually pick it up and keep working this business, because we couldn't keep going without this business. This business earns more money than our normal household income does. So for me, this is our household income. This pays my mortgage. This pays all of my household bills. So I need something in place so that he can pick that up and run with it. And I always say that to him. I'm like, be prepared that one day you're going to have to do lives in my customer group. If I'm ever for a period of time, you are going to have to go live. And he's like, I'm not doing that. But he would. Or one of my kids would. Someone would. So I really want you to bear that in mind. Right, I'm going to share with you a little bit, some things that I do a little bit differently. And I'm also going to share with you something that I used to do, because I think it's important for you to see another system, something different way that works. But I don't necessarily do this so much. Now I will share. I get a lot of PWS orders, and I am very lucky for that. Over the years, my PWS orders have grown from maybe like 5 a month, and I've had as many as 100 in a month. Okay, 100 PWS orders. So there has to be, for me. And I'm talking about a lot of those coming in as well from people that I don't know. And when you're getting orders from random people, like, who's had a random PWS order before? Best feeling in the world, right? Best feeling when you just get an order and you're like, oh my God, someone I don't know. I had someone the other day called Nicola Wilson spend £67 on my website, and I was so confused. I went to Mike, why is she doing an order on my website, thinking it was our Nick? And then Mike was like, yeah, why? And then I realized that she lived in, I think, Hartlepool or somewhere. Like, it was like somewhere in the country. And I was like, oh my God, I text Nick. I went, someone with your name has just ordered on my website. She was like, well, that's rude. There's only one Nicola Wilson. But it's then about, like, how do you follow up with those people? How do you build relationships with those people that are completely, like, you've had a random PWS order, or maybe you've got customers that only order on your PWS. And maybe they keep coming back and ordering on your PWS, but they don't join your customer group. They don't want to be on your WhatsApp broadcast. They don't want to be anywhere like that. But they just keep coming back and ordering on your website. And you think, they must like something. So I do have a system for that. Okay. So the first thing that I do to follow up is they get an email from me. Now, my emails don't always go out straight away. Some people are really good at emailing straight away, but I have an email that I send that goes from me. And when they receive that email, I will just show you. I actually set this up, and I will share. I'm happy to share the YouTube video that I set it up with. But when it goes out, so when I send an email, I've got a clickable link that's made in Canva, and you can click on YouTube. It takes you to my YouTube. Facebook, it goes to my Facebook customer group. Instagram, it goes to my Instagram page. And if you click under Lisa Allwood, my website, it goes straight to my website. So there is so many different ways to contact me. That is a clickable link. I will share the website. I can talk you through how to do it, but I'm not going to do that now. Like, there's a YouTube video. I watched it step by step, made it in Canva, added it to my Gmail, and I send all of my emails to my customers on my Gmail now, because then they've got that signature and it looks professional. Okay, so that's one of the first things I do. Then they've always got that email in their email system somewhere. They can get onto either my Facebook group or my website pretty easy. Okay, I've just made something a little bit more of a system, if you like. I've got the same email that I send them, whether they order 5 times. Well, actually not. If they order 5 times, I normally send them something a bit more personalized by email number 5. I'm like, oh, she's ordered again. Let's send something a bit more personal. But generally speaking, they get the same email each time, asking them to join my VIP group. Unless they come back to me and say, oh, I haven't got Facebook, then I make a note of that, so that next time if they do order, I obviously send a thank you that hasn't got my Facebook link, so it looks like I'm paying attention, because that is really important. People pick up on things like that. I had one lady say, oh, I told you before, I don't have Facebook. And I was thinking, oh God, that now looks like that I pay no attention. So it is important that you are making note, especially of people that are like regular PWS orders. So that's something I do. That's the first thing. That's the first way I touch base with them. Then I send them out Happy Mail, and I've talked about my Happy Mail system. I have actually changed it again. I literally now just send a sent circle and thank you, because it became too overwhelming for me and too complicated, and I just stopped doing it. And I was like deer in headlights, because I couldn't cope. And I was like, no, the thought of doing my Happy Mail is literally like making me want to vomit. And I'm like, no, I'm not interested. And so I needed to simplify it. And I went right back to basics, just kept it super simple. Then I don't contact them until the following month. And then what I now do is the following month, everybody gets an email to say, hey, I hope you received your Scentsy order okay, because I know that by the following month, they should have received their Scentsy order. Also, did you receive my Happy Mail? It's come in a hot pink envelope. They look like these. With your freebies from me. And I normally send a scent circle and that little postcard that Tam made, you know, the stickers, and you can tick this scent comes in, this, and this. I've had really good feedback on those. Really, really. Like one lady said to me, I never knew that Jammy Time came in so many different products. And I was like, oh, it's gross. But then she went on my website and ordered Jammy Time in like everything. I was like, wow. So that they were a bit of a game changer. And then that's it. Okay. They now remain on my PWS, and I send out at least once a month or 2 monthly emails. One of those emails is always a join email, and the other email is, this is product that's coming this month. So my email that went out this week, I shared with you in the Scent Squad, and that was my Villains Happy Mail. And then that's it. I don't then email them every time something new comes out, purely because I don't want to be overkill. But I'm now touching base with all of my email people. All of my PWS orders are getting an email every single month. If you don't know how to do it, I did a step-by-step how to send an email to all of your contacts in your email this week. I think it was on Monday. I think I did it. It's in the Scent Squad. I will save it in a guide, and I will call that guide emails, so that you can go in there and follow that step-by-step if you wish to. I even showed you how to embed images. It literally is step-by-step. If you follow it step-by-step, you will get it. Even if you've only got 2 people in your workstation, you can still send them an email. Now, this is the other thing that I started doing. In my Gmail contacts, I've got loads of people that have never bought Scentsy from me, that used to be in contact with me through another business that I owned, that was a fitness business. I have got contacts in there from like college, and because I've had the same email address for like forever. Who's had the same email address for like forever? I haven't, not since college. That's probably like a bit of an exaggeration, but definitely old jobs that I've had, right? So I started to use my contacts in my Gmail and send emails to all of them. Why not? They're going to soon tell me, I don't want to be on your email list, please remove me. Okay, I know it's a bit like GDPR and all that, but they're my contacts, they're my friends, they're people that I know, people that I've built. I've had an email conversation with them at some point, so I send them a little email, and at the bottom of my email I say, if you don't receive my emails, please let me know and I'll remove you from my list, and I just take them out of my contacts. That has been a game changer for me finding new customers, because all of a sudden people that I haven't spoken to for ages messaged me and said, Lisa, I never even knew you sold Scentsy. And I'm like, because we're not friends on Facebook, or we're not friends on Instagram, because I haven't spoken to them for ages. But I've just caught up with people. I made it, obviously, like when I first started doing this, it wasn't like, oh, here's just all the Scentsy products. It was like, hey, don't know if you realize this, but I'm an hour Scentsy girl. And I sent it out. So have a look at what contacts that you've got. Okay, that's just like something that you can do. It doesn't always have to be people that you know. So that's how I do my work, my PWS follow-ups. So anyone that orders on my website. Right, this is a system as well that I used to use. Every order I get goes in an order book. It always has done. It always has I've got order books up there. Do you keep all your old order books, Kirst? Do you keep yours?
I have got old ones, but I'm really bad at using order books. But
You're not an order. I'm an order book girl, right? It's just for me. That's how my brain works. I can't physically remember a thing otherwise. So everything gets written down in here. And I find when I have a few days where I don't write stuff, like if I have like a week where I'm a bit off the ball and I'm like taking orders off people and not writing them down, I feel like my whole sense of business goes kaput. And I'm like, because I don't remember anything. My brain is literally, it just doesn't cope. So what I started to do, I haven't been doing this as much lately, but anyone that orders in my order book is what I class as a local order. Okay, so PWS orders are people that order just directly on my website. Some of those are my local customers, and I treat them exactly the same as a random customer. Obviously, I've got better relationships with them, so I might send them a WhatsApp or I might send them and be like, oh my God, thank you for your order. And if they're in my customer group, they'll get a little, I'll do a little post saying like, thank you so much for your order on my website, trying to encourage other people to order on my website. So I always put that. But what I do is I write down everyone that's ordered from me in the whole month. I go through my order book and I write them all down. And then I just tick to make sure that I can't actually even read this because my printer has literally double printed. I don't know why, for some reason. I write down the month that they ordered. So this says August. That's where the arrow goes all the way down. And then I've also, have they received their order? Ticked it. I've got another little column for, have I just checked in with them to make sure that everything was okay? And then lastly, any notes. Now, this is where I write bulbs because I don't know about you lot. I forget bulbs all the time. I don't know why. Bulbs just seem to be like the bane of my life. So I write things like bulbs or like next to Georgina's name, for example, I've got reorder ×3. She ordered 3 times in 1 month. So it was like she's a relatively new customer. So that's somebody that I know that I need to make sure she gets some really nice samples and some really special treatment. Next to Kai, for example, I wrote party ? Because we'd had a conversation about party. Beth and Jane, I wrote that friends and LTO next to it. And I'm going to tell you what I do with those in just a moment. And then Karen, brand new, must make sure add her to WhatsApp. So I don't do this as much because, as I said, I started using Kirsty's spreadsheet. But if you like pen and paper and you don't want to do spreadsheet, this might work for you. Having each month written down, put them in a folder, you can flick back, you can look at, who ordered in January, who ordered in February, if that works for you. One of the other things I started doing, which is really helping with follow-up, and this is something, I know it's a bit like here, there, and everywhere, but this is something I need to transfer onto my spreadsheet. I have started to make, I don't know if you can see that, in my notes, a list for certain customers for certain things. For example, not all products, because it just wouldn't physically work. Cleaning products, fragrance flowers, whiffs and laundry, Disney customers. So I've got 4 notes set up, and in each of those, I've got names of customers who I know that when we have, for example, LTO, Disney, fragrance flowers, I will message all of my customers who regularly have fragrance flowers with me. These are like my regular fragrance flower customers, my regular whiffs customers, my regular Disney. I've actually got a Disney broadcast set up for my Disney ones. But this isn't like a list that's like gospel. It's just when I'm out and about, like Kirsty said, say tonight I've gone and picked up Artie from football. While I'm sitting in the car waiting for Mike to come over to him, I can message all of my fragrance flower customers and show them the Villains fragrance flower very, very quickly at a quick glance when I've got 5 minutes. And I don't need to go through my order book. I haven't got to go to a spreadsheet. I'm on the go. I have got my spreadsheet is on Google Drive because it's easy access on the go. But this is just like quick glance on my phone when I need it. And I like that I'm building that list because now I'm looking at that and I'm like, I haven't spoken to Claire about the fragrance flowers. And Claire's also on my Disney list. So more than likely, she's going to go for the Disney, she's going to go for those because of both lists. Does that make sense? So that's another way where it just helps me remember who to contact in terms of with the follow-up. Now, what was I feel like I've lost my notes. They've all gone where I'm trying to use my mouse on my laptop and that's not going to work. Okay. I wrote down as well, the list of 100 is like literally your most important thing. If you've never done a list of 100 before, some of you won't have 100 customers. It might start as 30. It might start as 10, but you need a list. And that list is your starting point always. That is your follow-up list to start with, and it will build. And you just need to have a list that you're building and you're adding to every month, making it your mission to have a referral system to add new people to. Because the more new people you've got to follow up with, you're not going to be asking the same people over and over and over and over and over again to buy. And I honestly think that this is the secret to success in a way. The more people you can introduce, the more new customers that you can find, you don't need to ask the same people over and over. And some of you might feel like that you're asking the same customers, do they want an LTO fragrance flower? Do they want the new whiffs that have just come out? Do they want the new Bring Back My Bars? Do you want the new, and when you're only sending those messages to the same people over and over again, that's when the spammer Pamela kicks in. That's when you feel icky. And when you know your customers well, like Kirsty said, when you get to know people, you build relationships with them. You have time that's about building connections on social media, in person if you see them, however it may be. That's when the follow-up becomes simple. That's when the follow-up becomes easy because you know people. They know you, they like you, they trust you. And it works both ways around. Couldn't get my teeth in then. So hopefully that helps you. I don't want to spend too much longer on this because I feel like we've given you loads of how-tos, like, there's different ways that we do things. I'm happy to share my verbiage with you in terms of my emails that I send. I know Kirsty and I have both shared many screenshots where how we've followed up, what sort of things that we're writing to people. I'm happy to screenshot a couple of messages and reshare those again if it helps. Have you guys got any specific questions about follow-up? Anything that we haven't? I think Laura asked, how often do you follow up? For me, like it's probably like once a month. And hopefully people are coming back more often than that because my local people tend to be buying from me a couple of times a month. I've got some customers that might order 4 or 5 times a month. And sometimes I'm like, that's why you need to become a teamie. Do you do the last day of the month follow up? I don't. But that's because I'm already building my order for that last day the week before. I'm already thinking about the end of the month. So I don't need to do the last day of the month. Because I think if someone was messaging me on the last day of the month, I think, well, they're trying to get their sales.
That's always been my thing as well. It's that kind of like they hear the desperation. So I literally order on a Monday and a Thursday. Rarely do I order on the last day of the month unless it falls on a Monday and a Thursday. So to keep it, like my customers have that system, they know that's the days I order. And if they want an order on the last day of the month, I will still push my PWS. Like this is leaving at the end of the month. But no, definitely. Like that's for me where the it comes in.
My customers know that I will always, they know for mine, the opposite is I will always place an order on the last day of the month. I won't ask them for orders, but I always place an order on the last day of the month because I never want to hold orders to go into that new month. And that is something that I can't stress that enough. Like whether you place that order, but I don't need to chase. My customers know I'm placing an order. It will be on 7 o'clock on the last day, but I don't chase those orders. The chasing for those orders, as you say, it's almost done the week before. I've done my follow-up on the Monday, Tuesday. I let them know I'm placing the order on the last day. You just let me know. If it's not in on the last day, then obviously they can order whenever. But that's when, for me, so when doing monthly follow-up, when do you do the follow-up? What for me, as in like once a month? My once a month is just by email. My actual local customers, probably I do once a week.
I just follow up. Like I know that some of my, it depends what you call follow-up. See, again, we've just said that we don't really like the word follow-up. If you're following up to get an order, then I will mostly do it on a Monday and Thursday because that's when I'm ordering.
Yeah.
But touch base is when
All the
kind
time.
of either you have time, or like I know that if I speak to a lot of my teacher friends between the 20th and the 24th, they get paid on the 26th. So I'm fresh in their mind. When it gets to the 26th, they'll say to me on the 24th, oh, I'm going to order when I get paid. But
Okay.
that sounds really manipulative again, but that is just how it works. Like
Yeah.
if I want to make sure those people that have said to me they want to order a German fragrance flower, but they haven't got any money at the moment, I'll just reach out to them a few days before I know that it's payday. But that's because I was in that position as well, so I knew, but follow-up should be done. Relationship building and connecting should be done all of the time, not just
If Kathy's asked about when they've received their orders, say for example, I delivered orders today, which I have done actually. So I've delivered orders today, and I will check that everybody's, like, oh, I've sent orders in the post today. I will check that they've got there within 3 or 4 days, because I know those orders should be there, and I've made a note of that in my diary. So
the thing, if I'm posting out stuff, I'll tend to tag people in a post on Facebook saying your orders, I've sent your order, or I might just message them if it's only like a couple, and I'll say, can you let me know when it's arrived?
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10 they'll message me, and if they don't, a week later I'll message and say, I was just taking your order, and they go, oh yeah, sorry, it was lovely, thanks so much, I completely forgot to message you. But like, that's almost like I try and get them to follow up with me, like, I've sent it, can you just let me know when it's in? And then it just naturally brings up a conversation usually.
my PWS ones is just another point in the following month. So that's a little bit different, because I'm not clicking on every single tracking number, but that's purely because of the volume. If I had 10 PWS orders in a month, I would be clicking tracking numbers, sending them, this is your tracking number if you haven't seen it, doing a bit more personalized follow-up. It's now got to that point for me where that actually would probably take over my life. If I was doing that, I'd be constantly on the UPS website, I'm not going to lie. I'm probably throwing the UPS website out the window, because it does my brain in, where it takes you from window to window to window.
With my PWS, I mean, I don't get as many as you. I do get a few, but I don't get as many as you. But I'll just get an email that says your order is shipped, and I'll just click on it, see whose order it is, and I'll just message say, just to let you know, lovely, your order's on its way. Any problems, let me know. And like, so that's quite easy for me. If there's like 10 PWS orders a month, I can do that. Obviously I don't have 100. When it gets to obviously sale time, when there's loads of website orders, no, that doesn't. I just keep an eye and kind of try not to look at what's being shipped in case it's taking 21 days.
Yeah, we try not to pay attention to that. But that check-in as well, I found, especially on my email, where I'm actually checking in, have you received your Happy Mail, and I hope your order received all right. Like last week I had 16 people message me back in the space of about 10 minutes. Oh, thank you so much. Or, oh, my Happy Mail hasn't come yet. There were a couple where I was thinking, actually, yours went out a little bit later, which is, so I know, or yours hasn't quite gone out yet, I'll send that the next day. And straight away people are like messaging me back, oh, thanks so much, I've received your Happy Mail, it's so generous. And that's been a bit of a game changer for me, the sending of the Happy Mail and then checking in. But I only do that if people order on my PWS, because otherwise it costs you a fortune. Like I used to try and do that for every order that I got. Didn't work. I was sending out too many samples, scent circles, it was costing me postage. You've got to think like a business in that sense, and I definitely wasn't, and I haven't thought like a business for a really long time. I am now. A few things have changed, so but follow-up is definitely one of them. You just need to find something that works for you and your customers. However, what time limit Kirsty sets or I set, how often we do these things, that needs to be on you and the relationship you've got with your customers. And I think that's important. Don't do it based on, oh, if I said 2 days for me, 2 weeks, 2 months, that wouldn't work for me, because it's too regimented, and my life is not regimented in any way, shape or form, and there's not enough organization. But if you like that, and you need to be like, okay, I'm doing all my follow-ups on the 3rd every single month, and then I'm going to do all of my other follow-ups on the 23rd of every month, because that's how your schedule works. Make it work for you. The easier you make it work for you, the more likely you're going to be consistent doing it. And that's honestly what I've learned over, it's taken me nearly 6 years of trying everybody else's systems and realizing the only systems that ever stick are the ones that I design myself, that I actually genuinely need. And I trust me, I've got a folder somewhere in here that's got all these no, it's down here, all these beautiful sticky things, and I printed this and I printed that and I put them all in these folders. Honestly, my business has evolved so many times, and I realized that's not going to work. I can't take that folder when I need to go to a swimming lesson or football or a football game, or I need things that work on the go for me. Your business may look very different to mine. The amount of time you spend at home may look very different to mine and to Kirsty's. And this is why we're telling you different ways that you can follow up, but I want you to create something that works for you. How do you think? How do you want to be follow up? If you were buying Scentsy from me, how would you want me to follow up with you? What would you want to see? What would make you keep coming back to that consultant every single time? Because at the end of the day, you're the magic sauce. Not me, not Kirsty, not anybody else. You're the magic sauce. So what is going to make someone keep buying off of you? What is it that, you know, and it doesn't have to be that you're sending them a bloody mini warmer every time they order. Trust me, right? You do not need to spend any money at all. An email and a text message is more than enough, but it's about what value are you leaving somebody with? How are you getting to know them? Do you know anything about them? And sometimes I think, like, my new teammate that's just joined, Sarah, came off of the back of one of my PWS join emails that she ordered on my PWS a couple of times. And then I sent a join email, and then she messaged me about 3 weeks later and said, oh, I'm thinking about joining. Like, you know, what kits are available, and we talked through them all. And that, you know, she had Happy Mail from me. I can't remember where I was going to go with this, but I didn't actually know a lot about Sarah at that point. She'd only ordered from me, that was where I was going with this, twice, or I hadn't got to that point of getting to know her as a customer. I'm getting to know her now as a teamie. But what made her keep coming back? You know, was it the Happy Mail? Was it that my email address or had, you know, clickable links in it? I don't know. But at the same time, she chose to keep coming back. And that's what you've got to find that for you. Like, what's going to work for you? How are you making sure that people come back and buy from you? Put your own follow-up system. And this is the last thought I want to leave you with. If you don't have some form of follow-up system, and this sounds really harsh, but you kind of don't have a business, because otherwise it's a bit like you're giving away samples for fun and then you're not following up with them. You're maybe sending out Happy Mail, but you're not following up with them. Or someone's getting an order in their home and you don't even know whether they're warming wax in that warmer, because you don't even know if they've unboxed that order. And that's where your job, you're a consultant. You need to do the consulting for people, and you've got to see yourself as giving someone a service, not as being icky. And as soon as you can get your head around that and be like, do you know what? I'm servicing someone. I have literally ordered from so many network marketing companies, and I couldn't tell you any of their names, not one. I couldn't tell you who I bought FM from, who I bought. Actually one, Tropic is the only one. And I still talk to her. She's the only lady. And that was off of the back of me saying exactly that. I couldn't tell you. None of them have ever followed up with me. And that's, would I have bought more of those other products? Would I have bought more FM? Probably. Would I have bought more Body Shop? Maybe. Would I have bought more? I'm trying to think what other products I've bought. Loads. But honestly, never had a follow-up. And I think that's an eye-opener. Have you ever had a follow-up from a network marketing company? Some of you might, but maybe not. That's where we differ from other network marketing companies, I think. That's where we are about relationships. And not that I'm bashing other network marketing companies, but I think there are a lot of network marketing companies out there that do not do the relationship bit. They just want the sales. And if you want your customers to keep coming back and you want them to refer you, do the follow-up. The fortune is in the follow-up. That is so true. So, any questions? Has this been useful? I hope so. I've loved having Kirsty on. I love training with people. Thank you, Kirsty. You've given up
A
your
long time.
Trained together for ages, have we?
No.
And I think this was the perfect thing to kick off with. So, okay,
Yeah.
so I'm going to go and do some tidying up indoors. If you've got any questions, you know where we are. Yes, I look forward to hearing all about all of your follow-up systems, and
Yeah.
even start with just a text message system, whatever. Just start with something simple, and we want to hear about them. We want to hear that your successes, and if you do have success when you do the follow-up, share it in the Sense Squad. Do a post and share with us what was the success you had, where, you know, what did you do, and what was the outcome, because we then get excited and we're like, yay, it was worth it. I will share this recording in the squad tomorrow. I will let it do its thing and download, and I will share it tomorrow. So thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thanks,
guys. See you
See
later.
you. Bye.